But at the end of the day, if those idols that don't sound good in these performances actually performed on a music show with their said groups, they would probably sound a lot better, right? Do you see where I'm going with this? Before anyone asks, they're pimple patches. Hi, welcome. We are back with another round of Queendom puzzle performances. This time, again, we have groups doing renditions of popular K-pop songs, which strangely includes a Taeyeon song. Well, maybe not strangely. Someone mentioned in the comments that there's a weird amount of SM songs in this show. And not enough 21. Nobody actually said that, that's just me. So the reason the video is late this week is because yesterday I was actually busy reviewing NMIX, and tonight, I want to go swimming, so... You get what you're gonna get. So I was indeed unable to watch this show, but luckily all the performances have been uploaded to YouTube. So we're gonna take a look at them and rank them. So if you're interested, then please keep on watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video with friends you don't have. You can also join my Patreon and all that jazz. So, of course, we're going to start in last place. So we have Weekend by Taeyeon, performed by Soyeon, Sejin, Yeonhee, and Jui. We start this stage off with Yeonhee, who has a radio, and when she presses a button to play a song, it turns the sepia-toned stage into a colorful stage. Now, if you watch the performances in order that they were uploaded, you can see that some of them have connections with each other. So if anyone wants to explain to me what the hell happened in the episode, because we have Queendom performances and puzzle performances, and let me know. Either way, the radio in this stage is very similar to the radio in the stage that we're going to see later on. Not that the radios are the same, but the concepts are the same. And then in two other stages, we see plants and shit. So they're connected somehow, but how? Should have watched the damn show, Angelina. I know! So now we're in this colorful stage, and we get to see all the cute vibes, which I think are really in line with Taeyeon's Weekend. I don't remember the original super well, but I remember there was like early 2000s vibes, and it was really pink and cute. So we have magical floating clouds in the sky and a majestic bike with a background that is moving. I especially really loved the touch of them having bouquets of flowers as their microphones. So every time they sang, it was just really cute. However, the performance sounded a little off, or maybe a lot off, didn't it? It just felt like it was quite high pitched and difficult to listen to. And also, I feel like there was a lot of downtime on the stage, which, inherently isn't a really big issue. For example, in the ballad stages, they're really not doing all too much, but you can kind of get away with it if it sounds amazing. But the stage didn't really sound the best, in my opinion. So the downtime didn't really make a lot of sense to me. I would have preferred a lot more choreography to kind of counterbalance, maybe. I don't know, maybe justify what we're hearing. That's the thing. I don't really understand what Mnet was thinking or what Mnet was doing with these stages, because it didn't sound like a typical music stage at all, right? Like, you kind of expect a certain type of refinement when it comes to these stages, but all the voices meshing together didn't actually really mesh together all that well, and didn't sound good together all that well either. But I'm just tired of sitting here and being like, Mnet edits some stages and don't edit other stages, and I don't know how to properly rank these stages if they're not all on the same page. Either way, this stage happens to rank last, whether or not Mnet badly edited it. Because either these idols are actually untalented and sound horrible, or Mnet is doing something fishy, right? I don't know. You can let me know in the comments if you know these individual contestants on a more not personal level, but if you've seen their performances before, and if you can confirm that they don't usually sound like that. But for those reasons, it ranks last. I really loved how cute the stage was, but that was maybe about it. Sound-wise, I just wasn't super feeling it. So in second to last place, we have Rush Hour by Crush and J-Hope, performed by Nana, Soyeon, Yeoram, Yen, Yuki, and Zoa. So like I mentioned, I feel like there's a connection between this stage and the previous stage, as we see Nana carrying a boombox before she sets it on the stage and starts to play a song. Very similar to the scene set in the previous stage. And then we cut from member to member before the group comes together minus Yen and Yuki, who appear on a phone call on the screen as they are allegedly driving to the stage. So I get the setup, it's really cool to see them driving and then they make it onto the stage and walk through the crowd. I get it, but they were just gone for the first half of the performance essentially, right? Maybe not that long, but you get what I mean. But on that note, those two contestants to me had the best energy of the stage, but the overall energy was a bit light in my opinion. It just didn't feel as cool as the original song is. And of course, the sound as well was also a little bit difficult to listen to, but not as difficult as Taeyeon's Weekend. Again, with the mashup of voices not really meshing together super well, and it just sounded a little off. So they make it in the second last position. In fourth place, we have Hopeless Romantic by Big Naughty, performed by Doha, Juri, Ju, and Pai. This performance starts off with the contestants dramatically sat amongst the spotlights as they start serenading us. Now for the sound of it all, it's a little bit tricky because I wouldn't say they sound necessarily bad, but there's something off with the backup track and their voices speaking through, because you hear both throughout the entirety of the performance almost. It's very rare that they're blending perfectly in with their backup track, which we're going to see later in another ballad where the voices blend together perfectly, almost seamlessly, and you can't really tell. And I know I'm always praising stages when you can hear the backup track versus the vocals, but not for ballads. For ballads, I feel like it really ruins the vibe. It kind of takes you out of the performance a little bit. Still a beautiful performance nonetheless, but my point is I don't understand what Mnet was doing, because in some performances you don't really hear the backup track or it blends seamlessly, and in this performance it's kind of like almost constantly you're hearing the two voices. So for a ballad, it threw me off a little bit. They definitely still sounded good. It wasn't as bad as the previous two performances that we heard, but it still wasn't my favorite. Again, the voices weren't blending together super seamlessly, so it wasn't my favorite performance. But we do have a little bit of a storyline. I mean, a storyline. We see a rose that is withering away, and then at the end of the performance we see new growth. So there's that. Either way, I've placed them in 4th place. In 3rd place, we have Time of Our Life by Day 6, which was performed by Miru, Seon, Ellie, Cherin, and Huiso. So this one starts off with the contestants within a photograph on stage, as they are dressed in school uniforms, and Miru writes, "Time waits for no one" on the blackboard. They then pose for a picture before jumping out of the photo frame and running around very energetically. I really enjoyed their energy. They're really fun to watch. Ellie especially has been really catching my eye. I just love her smile. She fits these types of concepts super well, because if we remember last week, she did Fighting, which was also a very fun, energetic song, and she absolutely killed it, and she still did this time as well. She just really stands out to me, and I really like her. And why they rank so high is because they also sounded good on top of having really good energy, which just makes you wonder, because all the voices together suddenly meshing very well. Is it really an editing issue on Mnet's part, or do the contestants just actually sound good together? I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of that, because I feel like the production value for this stage was just way better than literally all the previous ones that we've seen so far. So yes, they've made it into the 3rd place. In 2nd place, we have If We Ever Meet Again by Im Young-woon, performed by Bora and Kay. I feel like they were just itching to pair these two together, because from the beginning, I feel like they were trying to make it seem like they were rivals. They were both two really amazing vocalists. So I feel like they were really itching to place them together, and I'm glad because I really do enjoy their voices. So this performance starts off with the girls side by side as a dandelion is animated in the center between them. And this is what I mean when there are elements of the stage is connected together, because in the before stage we also saw like a rose withering away and growth of a plant and everything. Now this stage was definitely special because it's making it into 2nd place, and there really wasn't much to it. Like, yes, they're standing there looking gorgeous with like feathers flying around them, and it's absolutely stunning and beautiful, but they're not actually doing much. Like, if you consider there's no choreography, they're not really making use of different parts of the stage. You know, in some of these performances, you literally have contestants who are in the crowd, literally, or driving a car. You know, there's a lot of external factors contributing to the performance, but in this one, they're literally only relying on their voice. Their voices are front and center, and if the voices aren't good, then the performance isn't going to be good, because there's nothing more to the performance than the voice, right? So luckily, they sounded absolutely amazing. And I found myself just very intrigued. When it comes to ballads I've never heard before, I tend to get a little bit bored. I'm not super interested, but they kept me interested throughout the entirety of it all, despite not having the glitz and glamours that the other performances had. They do end up walking down from their platform onto another platform that then lifts up, but I don't consider that as like a huge, amazing thing that is done within the stage. Everything was still very much beautiful, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying their voices truly carried this performance, and everything else was just like a nice little touch. And even if you didn't have those elements, I still think it would have been an amazing performance. So for those reasons, they rank into 2nd place, which I think is really high. I love this performance. They sounded amazing. Both of them together, just even singing together, sounded so beautiful. I didn't find that one contestant was overshadowing another contestant. They sounded equally as beautiful. There was, one thing that I wanted to mention is that at the beginning, you could hear Kay's backup track and her voice, but then the problem seemed to have fixed itself. So again, I don't understand if it's just the contestant's inability to really match their backup track perfectly, or if it's just an Mnet thing. I don't know. Either way, number 2 spot. In first place, of course, we have Wannabe, originally by Itzy, but performed by Rina, Sangha, Uyeon, Jiwon, and Jihan. We start off this performance in quite an exciting manner, as we have Jihan playing the guitar before she unplugs it and smashes it very dramatically. I was actually super excited by the energy alone, because we see the members lined up in front of the crowd, and from then on, it just kept getting better and better. I'm not gonna lie, my jaw was on the floor for this performance, because I love Wannabe. So when you already love one of the songs that they're going to be covering, it makes it a little difficult. Like, I joked about having a 21 cover at the beginning, but realistically, if any of them covered a 21 song, it would, I don't know, I just think back to other 21 covers on Mnet shows and how absolutely you just inherently have higher expectations when it's a song that you like. So I love Wannabe, and despite my love for Wannabe, I think they absolutely killed it. Like, I had high expectations for them, admittedly, and their energy, the facial expressions that I was seeing, the singing as well sounded amazing. The rendition of the song, the way they played with the song was just so much fun. Again, they sounded phenomenal. I can't help but wonder if the weekend performance or, you know, the performances at the bottom, if they sounded amazing, where they would have ranked otherwise. Because we all know, we're all fourth gen stans. We understand performances can be perfected post-production. So to see some perfected performances, or what sounds like a perfected performance versus what's not a perfected performance, or maybe it's not a perfected performance, maybe these idols actually just sound better than the other idols, I don't know. But at the end of the day, if those idols that don't sound good in these performances actually performed on a music show with their said groups, they would probably sound a lot better, right? Do you see where I'm going with this? I digress. I love this performance so much. It's my #1 performance. Again, energy, facial expressions, everything. It checked every single box, and they made it to the #1 spot. So yeah, that is basically my ranking for this week's performances on Queendom Puzzle. You can let me know in the comments down below how you would rank these performances. As for me, I'm gonna get going, but first, huge shout out to my patrons for supporting me on a monthly basis. It means the world to me. Thank you so much. You can also join my Patreon too by clicking the link in the description. RIP to my channel members. I miss seeing all the lovely emojis next to your faces, but we just can't trust YouTube anymore. But anyways, I'll see you guys next time. I'm going swimming tonight. You know, maybe this is bad. The only reason I have in life is the pool, and it's not my pool, but the next door got a pool, and I like to go swimming in that pool even though it's tiny. Sometimes you just have to enjoy the little things, literally little things in life, and that's all I've got right now. So I don't want to hear it about my lack of makeup, even though I'm wearing quite a bit of it. I just didn't want to wear, like, I don't put, okay, this is getting into a tangent. I don't put my face in the water, but you know, the water comes up here a little bit. So I didn't want to put like foundation or anything. And I have a face smoothing filter. Don't act like you didn't know about it. Anyways, bye.